Welcome to Change Grow, where we help you navigate the world of wealth and status. Money is an important part of our lives, but sometimes our relationship with it can become unhealthy. We may find ourselves constantly worrying about finances, overspending, or feeling ashamed about our financial situation. These negative feelings can take a toll on our mental health and overall well-being. It's important to recognize the signs of an unhealthy relationship with money so that we can take steps to improve it. In this article, we'll explore some common indicators of an unhealthy relationship with money and offer some tips on how to improve your financial health. Sign that money is taking control over you is when you begin to question every expenditure, wondering what else you could have done with that money. Even when you have a significant amount of money, you may feel as though it's the last you'll ever have and become obsessed with making it last as long as possible. You start comparing different ways to spend that money, always seeking to do so in the most efficient way possible. This can be damaging to your judgment, as you become hesitant to spend money on anything for fear that there might be something else more important that you should buy. Your entire life becomes a constant comparison of what things you should spend your hard-earned cash on, and this is when your money problems begin. Of course, this is not to say that people who are struggling financially should not be mindful of their spending. They need to make every dollar count and spend it as smartly as possible. However, we're specifically talking about above-average individuals with above-average means who start to lose their enjoyment of life due to their constant need to scrutinize every expense. Sign that money is controlling your life is when you become frustrated with unexpected expenses or random fees. There will always be situations where you have to pay extra, but when money controls you, you have a whole different attitude. For example, if an Uber becomes more expensive than it was 10 minutes ago, you might decide to stay home instead of going out. Similarly, if there is a fee to use a public toilet at a gas station, you might hold it until you get home rather than pay the fee. When a bottle of water costs slightly more than you expected, you might spend an hour shopping around for something that's more appropriately priced. These little things can add up and make you resentful of having to spend money at all. Sign that money is controlling your life is when high prices offend you. When people are controlled by money, a high price can make them feel as though they are being taken advantage of. They might question the value proposition of the item in relation to the asking price or become offended by it. They might assume that expensive items are only for people with more money than sense, dividing the world into those who can afford things and those who cannot. This kind of thinking can create a skewed worldview and limit your opportunities for personal growth. Sign that money is controlling your life is when you look at the cost of something rather than its quality. When you're obsessed with money, you stop caring about craftsmanship or long-term value and focus solely on how much money will move out of your wallet. This can be uncomfortable, and you might end up not having anything of real quality, from the mattress you sleep on to the shoes you wear. Everything you own costs as much as you decide it should cost, and you become hyper-protective of your money as a result. Sign that money is controlling your life is when you only buy cheap, deep, and on sale. When you're obsessed with saving money, you become the main target of salespeople. You buy everything on sale because you think you're getting a good deal and doubling the value of your money. However, you end up purchasing half of the things you don't really need or want, filling. You underpay for your health and well-being. When money controls you, you may start to neglect basic needs like proper health care. You might think that you can recover from an injury or illness without having to spend money on it. You might choose to endure physical pain instead of seeking medical attention because of the financial cost. This can lead to long-term health problems and more expenses in the future. It's important to prioritize your health and take care of yourself, even if it means spending money. You underpay for convenience. When money controls you, you may become more tolerant of inconveniences to avoid spending money. You might choose to walk for an hour instead of paying for a ride that would get you to your destination in 10 minutes. You might try to fix plumbing or electrical issues in your home on your own instead of hiring a professional. This mentality of, "I'll do it myself," can lead to unsafe living conditions and end up costing you more money in the long run. It's important to consider the value of your time and the importance of safety and quality. You think you would be happy if you were wealthy. When money controls you, your happiness levels may be directly correlated to how much money you think you should have. You might set imaginary goals that keep changing every year. Starting off low, you might think you'd be happy with $100,000 in your bank account to pay off debts and bills. Then, you might set a goal of $500,000 to buy a house without becoming a slave to the bank. The number may keep increasing, and you might think that the only way to be happy is to be filthy rich and never have to worry about anything again. This belief is not necessarily true and can lead to disappointment and dissatisfaction. You create a fantasy world. When money controls you, you may start to create a fantasy world in your mind where you are rich and successful. You might daydream about winning the lottery or becoming a famous author or entrepreneur. However, without actually taking any steps to achieve your goals, these dreams may become your ideal version of success. You might start to care more about the millions of dollars that could come your way than the actual work or goals that would lead to success. This mindset can lead to a lack of motivation and a failure to achieve real success. You always look to make a quick buck. When money controls you, you might do anything to make more of it, even if it means putting yourself through unnecessary inconveniences. You might take on more jobs, work overtime, and sacrifice your sleep just to make a little extra money. This belief that making money is extremely hard and requires suffering and burnout can also make you susceptible to money scams and people taking advantage of you. It's important to value your time and energy and seek out sustainable ways to make money. You judge others based on their wealth, which is a clear indication that money has taken control over you. When you become obsessed with money, you tend to split the world into two groups, those who can afford things and those who can't. You put everyone in a monetary hierarchy and use that to judge them. This leads you to believe that you are better than those who make less money than you, and that you are inferior to those who make more. You start asking yourself questions like, who's the richest person in the room? Whenever you're with a group of people. At this point, money has started to assume control over you, and it can change who you are as a person. You compare yourself to others who make more money than you. When you start judging others based on how much money they make, you inevitably end up comparing yourself to them. This leads to feelings of jealousy and resentment towards those who make more money than you. You might feel like they aren't that special or that they are not better than you. You might think that they are not smarter or don't work harder than you do, so why do they make more money than you? This creates an unfair narrative in your mind. You want people to think you earn more than you actually do. As you become more obsessed with money, you start to avoid talking about your job or your salary. You only give vague hints at what you do and tend to make it sound like there's a lot more to it than there really is. You start to behave like other people and overspend on appearances just to keep up the illusion that you earn more than you actually do. At this point, money starts to dictate how you behave and how you present yourself to the world. You feel like you are being underpaid no matter how much you earn. When you become obsessed with money, you start blaming others for your financial situation. You might blame the corporations, CEOs, or managers for not paying you what you think you deserve. You stop looking at what you bring to the table or how impactful your skill set is. You start feeling entitled just because you showed up, and you won't do anything unless there's something in it for you. You obsess over money. One sign of an unhealthy relationship with money is if you find yourself obsessing over it. If you constantly worry about how much you have, how much you owe, and whether you're going to have enough to cover your bills, you may be overly preoccupied with money. While it's important to be mindful of your finances, obsessing over them can lead to anxiety and stress. You're constantly overspending. Another sign of an unhealthy relationship with money is if you're constantly overspending. If you find yourself regularly buying things you don't need or can't afford, it's time to take a closer look at your spending habits. Overspending can lead to debt, which can be a major source of stress and anxiety. You feel ashamed about your financial situation. If you feel ashamed about your financial situation, it may be a sign that you have an unhealthy relationship with money. Shame can prevent you from seeking help or taking steps to improve your finances. Remember that financial struggles are common, and there's no shame in asking for help or taking steps to improve your situation. You use money to cope with negative emotions. If you find yourself using money to cope with negative emotions, such as stress, anxiety, or boredom, it's a sign that you have an unhealthy relationship with money. While it's normal to indulge in small treats or splurges from time to time, relying on money to cope with negative emotions can lead to overspending and financial trouble. You have trouble saving money. If you have trouble saving money, it may be a sign that you have an unhealthy relationship with money. Saving money is an important part of financial health, and if you find yourself unable to save, it may be time to reevaluate your spending habits and financial priorities. So, if you see any of these signs in yourself, it's time to take a step back and evaluate your relationship with money. Seek help from a financial advisor or therapist to help you gain control of your finances and improve your financial well-being. You believe that all rich people are evil. The final sign that money has taken complete control over you is when you start believing that all rich people are evil. You might think that they all lied and cheated their way to the top. You might believe that there is a limited amount of money in the world, and that most of it is already in the secret pockets of the wealthy. You might feel like you've lost the battle and that the only thing left to do is to keep running in circles in the rat race. When you get to this stage, money has taken complete control over you. Having a healthy relationship with money is crucial for our overall well-being. It's essential to be mindful of our financial habits and to recognize the signs of an unhealthy relationship with money. By identifying these signs, we can take steps to improve our financial health, such as seeking help from a financial advisor or therapist, developing better spending habits, and prioritizing saving. Remember that our relationship with money is a journey, and it takes time and effort to improve it. By making conscious decisions and seeking support when needed, we can achieve financial stability and peace of mind. We'll see you back here again. Thank you for watching this video Change Grow. If you found it valuable, consider subscribing to our channel and joining our awesome community.